Hello everyone. How many business owners do we have here? Okay, trust me, this for you, and I promise you by the time I'm done speaking, you would learn a lot, and if you're going to imply all the things I'm going to talk about in your businesses, I promise you, you're going to see a lot of changes. But before I start, would you believe me if I say entrepreneurship is a scam? Okay, as far as I'm concerned, to some point, I'm an entrepreneur, a passionate one for that matter. But I can tell you, to some point, entrepreneurship is a scam. Because so many people, because of the greatness of being an entrepreneur, a lot of us, in this life, is not everybody is destined to be an entrepreneur. And at times, we are always going after the glories. We want to call ourselves entrepreneurs without first knowing who we are. In every business, in every person that wants to start a business, we have three personalities. We have an entrepreneur, we have a manager, and we have a technician. All right, I'll give you a short story about one of my cousins. Is there any baker here? All right, you might relate to this story. I have this cousin. At 19, she started learning how to bake cakes and make some of all this shawarma and all from her mom. And at 22, after graduating, she came back home and she was very good at it because she has been doing it for quite some time. And her siblings were like, "You're very good at this, you are very good at that, you are very good at baking, why not start a business, why not start a business?" And she was excited. "Oh, let me start a business. Let me become an entrepreneur." But one thing she was missing was that there's a difference between knowing how to bake and becoming an entrepreneur. So when she started, she asked me for a logo. I designed a logo, business card, flyers. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, the excitement. It's always great when you start a new business. You feel so energized, excited. But the problem is that she was a technician. So when she started the business, she was treating the business as a technician, not as an entrepreneur. And trust me, 90% of small business owners in Nigeria do the same. All right, I will explain to you. So when she started this business, she never knew there's a difference between baking and running a business. In running a business, there are things like marketing, accounting, customer service. There are a lot of them. She was only good at one aspect, which was the baking. So when she started, she was enjoying baking. Few customers started coming, 3 orders, 5 orders, and she was enjoying it. Then after like 6 months, the work was becoming too much on her. And she was like, "Oh, I think I need help. Maybe I need a staff." She was just thinking over it, and she finally made the decision. And she made the decision not because she has a proper plan, but because she wanted running away from it. She was tired because at times she's sleeping. At times, when she started, whenever there's a call, she's excited, a new order. But when the calls were too much, when the call comes in, she's always afraid, frightened, like, should I even collect this order? I'm tired. At times, she wakes up in the morning and she don't feel like walking, but she would have to walk. And that's why whenever I ask someone, "Why do you want to be an entrepreneur?" When people say, "Because I want to be my own boss," I laugh. Because you're going to have a lunatic as your boss. It's better to have a boss in the corporate world than to have bosses as your customers. Because those bosses are not like the other bosses in the corporate world. They will call you even when you don't feel like picking the call, you must answer. They would offend you and they will tell you a customer is always right. That's the boss you are going to meet. So after that 6 months, she decided she was going to hire someone to help her. She hired a young lady, and they started working. So there's a difference between leadership by abdication and leadership by delegation. When I say leadership by abdication, you are tired of doing something. Maybe whether it's in politics, in every aspect of life, we experience this. You are tired of doing something and you just, maybe you're a governor and you're doing something and you're tired of it. You just want someone to escape from that thing. Then you hire someone, not minding whether that person is competent or not. You decide to give that person the position. So in the case of my cousin, she hired someone and she said, okay, you'll be my manager, you'll be helping me with baking the cakes. You'll be literally doing almost everything. And she felt, oh, I now have freedom. So at times she'll be sleeping, the new manager, the new baker, the all-in-one person will be doing everything. Then after about 3 or 4 months, at first she was excited. Now I feel like this is a business, I have a staff. After some few months again, people started calling her, your cake is not nice again, your customer service is poor, this and that. She was like, when she came back, she looked at how the new staff was doing most of the things she was doing. When did I teach you how to do this? That's the wrong way. They started fighting. She was like, get out, let me continue doing my work myself. She got back. She was paying the manager and she was literally doing everything herself. The bakers here, have you ever found yourself in such? You hire someone, you're paying him, and that person is not doing enough. You feel like you're the only one doing that. When a technician runs a business, it is a mess. So, you know, we all have two spirits, two minds. Whenever maybe you want to lose weight, you want to be a better person, there's always two minds. One is telling you, okay, don't eat junks. You will not be eating junks. Then until one day they'll keep fighting. Then the other one day he would win over the battle and you will eat that junk. And before you know, you are back to your habits. So also in all of us, we have these three personalities, the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And they are always fighting for who will be the boss. It is a battle that will never end. So it's all about you finding how can you create a balance between these three personalities. All right. The entrepreneur in all of us is the visionary person in us. It's that visionary mind that tells you, I want to start this business, I want to do this, I want to do that. It inspires you, it gives you the move to start something. And then the manager in you is the person that keeps things in order. Okay, I'm not doing these things right, I need to have accounting, I need to do this, I need to do that. While the technician in you is the person that always wants to keep working. The manager is in the future. Sorry, the entrepreneur is in the future. The manager is in the past, while the technician is in the present. And that's why when a technician is running a business, he's always busy. When you say, okay, come and learn something, the past speakers were all talking about capacity building. You can't build a business if you don't go to events like this, if you don't read books, if you don't educate yourself more. So when the entrepreneur is out there trying to get more knowledge on how to make his business better, the technician is saying, I'm busy, let me bake cake, let me do this printing, let me do this, he's always busy. And there will be no time for that person to learn how to run his business. While the manager is always trying to keep everything okay, I'm afraid of taking risk. If the manager is running the business, you always try to be, you see opportunities, you are afraid of taking them because you just want to stay, let me just stay and run these things, I don't want trouble. But the entrepreneur is the real person that is meant to lead the business. So like I said, when you want to run a business like an entrepreneur, every business you see is run by these three people. Let me give you an example with the biggest company in the world, talking about Apple. Steve Jobs was the visionary entrepreneur. He had all the visions, the marketing skills, and what have you. Steve Wozniak was the technician. He knew how to create computers and so many things. And they got managers. So when the entrepreneur looks for visions, bring a lot of problems, the manager put things in order and the technician going to do the work. So if you own a business or you want to run a business, let me tell you, you don't need to be the entrepreneur if you know your strengths are not in being an entrepreneur. And you can just look into your secondary school life. You can find out which personality is the strongest in you. You can be successful as a manager. There are a lot of managers making millions. There are not a lot of technicians making millions. So that's one of the reasons why I said entrepreneurship is scam. You don't need to be that main entrepreneur for you to be successful. There are politicians, they are not entrepreneurs probably. There are a lot of ways you can be successful. It's not as if you must be a CEO, and that's why I say entrepreneurship is a scam. A lot of people are trying to start a business not because they have something to offer to the market, but because they just want to be called CEO. And that was why I even changed my title from that CEO to the CVO. I think I'm the first CVO in the country. And if you ask me what's the meaning of CVO, Chief Visionary Officer. When you go to companies that have C-suites, you hear of a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. Nobody needs to tell you a CMO is head of marketing. COO, Chief Operations Officer. Nobody needs to tell you he's heading of operations. CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Nobody needs to tell you he runs the finance. CTO, nobody needs to tell you he runs the technical. But CEO, Chief Executive Officer, what do you do? Executive, it makes you feel so profound of yourself. I'm the CEO. So I told myself, what's the main duty of a business leader, the number one 001 of every business? And it's the vision about moving the business, thinking long term about the future of the business. And so I told myself, okay, I'll be the first CVO. So going back to how you should start your business. You see, Henry Ford said of all the things he has done in the Ford company, right from the start, he had a picture of the company he wants to create and how he's going to create that company. Most of us, like I mentioned, if we are technicians, we just start the baking because we are good at it. We don't have any picture. But the best way to start a business is first have a clear defined vision of the kind of company you want to build. Let me give you a story with myself. Oh, sorry, I did not complete the story of my cousin. Well, after she hired that staff and she was not paying, the business was still not running, she decided to sack her and she went back to doing everything herself. And after some time, she told me, YB, I'm tired. And she rolled up the business and closed it. That's what happens with most of us. In the US, I saw statistics about 60% of businesses fail in the first year because of these reasons. The remaining 20% or 30% fail in the first 5 years. Only 10% are able to scale. This is US, where there is infrastructure. There are a lot of things that will help your business thrive. Not talking about Nigeria, where fuel, NEPA alone can frustrate your business. So she closed the business. So now I'm talking about the right way to do your business. When I started my first real company, talking about YBI Print, I went into the printing village. I had no capital. I had nothing. I just have the idea of I want to build a company. And I don't want to build a small company. I want to build a company that will grow into a multinational. So I asked myself, in Kaduna, which companies are the biggest printing presses? I wrote down their names. In the world, I wrote. Then I made my research. How does a structure of a well-established printing press is? Okay, I realized there are managers, accountants, sales officers, customer care lines, all the positions. So I said, all right, as of now, I can't hire anyone because I can't pay anyone. I'm just the staff. So I decided, what's the goal? My goal then was to be the CEO. But I said, now I need to be a staff first. I wrote, okay, CEO first, manager, accountant, all the positions to the list. Even the cleaner, I wrote my name, I was everything. YB. So I told myself, now my goal is, how can I delegate? There's a difference between delegation and abdication. Like I mentioned, Abdication is when you're tired of doing something and you decide to just bring in someone without training him, without telling him what you expect from him. Just come and run this. While delegation is when before you hire someone, you already have all the roles, responsibilities, and everything. In Nigeria, our leaders are delegated, not abdicated. The constitution and everything has already outlined what we are expecting from them. But sadly, even with that, we don't get most of these things. So when I put my name everywhere, then after running the business for like 2 months, I asked myself, which position do I hate the most? I said, okay, it was the operations, like collecting the orders, taking it to this print. I'll go and buy the papers, take it to this printer, do there, everything. So I said, okay, how can I get my manager that will handle these operations? And luckily for me, around the printing village, I kept searching. I had the qualities I needed because I already made my own findings. I knew what I need, the capacity, the capability of the person that is supposed to run that office. After doing that, I found a very hardworking boy. He's still the manager. He was just 19 then. I told him, oh, Abdullah, come. I want us to build a company. I have my networks. I'll be getting orders. What I want from you is just when I bring an order, maybe it's a paper bag, and I'll ask him, what's the cost of production of these bags? He'll tell me maybe 20,000. I'll go and charge 30,000. Then I'll give him 33,000 or 35,000. He'll produce it. He'll bring it back to me. I was also the delivery person of the company by then. I'll go to the park and send it. I kept doing that for like 2 months. And then again, when I realized I have a space to hire another person, I asked myself, okay, which other position do I hate the most? And it was the customer care, because messages every morning, a lot of messages, and it was overwhelming. So there were 2 of my friends that were coming to my office and they were not doing anything, graduates. I now asked myself, okay, let me go and make a research again. You see, I don't just give the roles out to people. I have to do my research, lay out the responsibilities and everything before I look for the person to fit in the shoes. When I made my research, I realized, okay, to have a good customer care, he needs to be patient, he needs to have good human skills, this, and that. I sat among those 2 my friends, who is the most patient among them, and it was Hassan. I said, Hassan, come and be my customer care, but I don't know if I can be able to pay you. Okay, I'll be paying you 15,000. He was like, okay, no problem. When we started, at times at the beginning of the month, I'll raise like 8,000, I'll pay him. Then middle of the month, I'll pay him like 7,000. Along the line, Hassan was becoming also overwhelmed. I called one of my friends, Abdul Majid, who was in Ibadan. He was working for a company that MTN were outsourcing their customer service to. I asked him, Abdul Majid, we have problem with our customer care. Can you come? Let's work together. He was like, how much will I pay him? I was like, how much are you earning there? He said they were paying him 45,000. I was like, Kai, yeah, I can't pay you 45. I can pay you 20,000. He was like, Kai, you don't think? I told him, you have 2 options. It's either you stay and become a small part of a big company, or you come and join me and become a big part of a small company that has the capacity to grow. And luckily for him, he took my advice. And I promised him when he comes to Kaduna, I will rent a house for him, I'll do this. When he came, I didn't even have the money. I got a friend, they were squatting. But I'm so proud to tell you, Abdul Majid now earns nothing less than 200,000 in a month. So that was how I kept delegating the positions, every positions. I'm together with my CMO, Farouk. He's here. Can you please stand up? Please give him a round of applause. Farouk was my childhood friend, and the same also. When I realized Farouk was very good with marketing, he has a good network, I was like, Farouk, come over. Initially when he came, I was like, hey, I can't pay you. But you know what? Just help yourself. Whenever you get an order, bring it. We'll remove our profit and we'll leave the rest with you. And that was how he started. And Farouk just built a house, I think, last 2 months. Mind you, I have not built my house yet. So I kept delegating all those positions. So in essence, what am I trying to pass to you? When you are you have an idea and you want to run that business, you need to have a vision. You need to, whether we are a Muslim or Christian, when we came into this world, our religions did not just tell us to worship God and when we died, that's the end of it. They told us we are going to paradise. And not just going to paradise, there was a vision of how paradise looks like. So when I hear people complaining about stuff, it is difficult to get the right people that will key into your vision, this and that. I tell people, it's your fault. No one can key. When you hire someone and you tell him, just come and work for me, I'll pay you 30,000, 40,000. You need to give him something far more than that money. And what is far more than that money? Key him into your dream. Tell him, show him a picture of the kind of company you want to build, and show him the kind of future he's going to have once that company is built. Trust me, if you have this process in place, if you have all this in place, you're going to build a great company, because I've seen it. I'm currently building my fourth company, and I use the same process. And trust me, with the YBI print, I've built it in a way that, what's the essence of building a business? The essence of starting any business is to create something that can work without you. So that at a point in time, when you look at people like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of them, Jack Dorsey, you will see someone build a great company, and then he will retire after some years, and he will sit down and he will be making money from the company he has built. Any company that you can't sell is not a company, it's a job. Because if a business can't do without you, it's better that you go and get a job elsewhere. You need to change your mindset. There's a difference, there's a difference between working in your business and working on your business. It's just like there's this joke of some people pushing a wheelbarrow, and it has squared tires, and someone came with round tires and he was like, replace with this. And definitely they will be faster if they use the round tire. But they were like, we are very busy, leave your tire. That's what happens when you are working in your business. People will come with advices, ideas on how your business can be better, but you are too busy and you can't work on your business. So lastly, before I round up, for you to build a sustainable business, I have two things I'm going to give you. Firstly, there are three things you need to do. First, innovation. Secondly, quantification. And lastly, orchestration. I'll give you a brief explanation on all. You see, innovation is about finding the best way a business can work. We have passed the stage of invention, because almost everything you're doing now, someone has done it before. It's about innovation, bringing a new way, the best way of doing it. So you need to keep innovating. McDonald's is the most successful small business in the world. How great is this for a business to have over 2,000 locations in the world, having presence in over 200 countries in the world, and everywhere you go, you see the same results? It's because they call it the new turnkey, or the franchise model of running a business. So when you are running a business, you need to put in your mind that you want to build a business that you can multiplicate. When you can multiplicate it, it means you can't be in it, because you can't multiplicate yourself in so many places. So when you innovate, you quantify, you measure the things you bring, the changes you are bringing in your business, whether it's a new recipe, a new menu, you quantify and see, are people really, Facebook, all these tech companies do this. When they make an update or anything, they measure and see the results. Are people really enjoying it? That's the quantification. And once the quantification is positive, then they orchestrate it. That is, they make it become a system. That's one part. Then the last part, there are 7 steps that you're going to build a business that can thrive without you. Number 1, you need to have a defined primary aim. That's your vision. Number 2, your strategic objectives. How are you going to go to where you want to go? What strategies are you going to use? Number 3, you need to have an organizational strategy. That is having an organogram, knowing the right people you need in your business when it is working very fine. Then again, you need to have a management strategy. How can you arrange your business, the hierarchy? Okay, let me give you, let me complete before I give you an example with Nigeria so that you can understand it better. After a management strategy, then you have marketing strategy. After your marketing strategy, you have your people strategy. After people strategy, you have system strategy. So for example, in the country, Nigeria is operated almost in the same way. Our primary aim was the vision of Nigeria, maybe being the giant of Africa, becoming great, developing, and what have you. Then we have the strategic objectives. We are going to use our natural resources, our people, our this and that to achieve our primary aim. Then we have an organizational strategy. How does the system of Nigeria works? We have the presidency, we have the judiciary, we have the Senate, and what have you. Then the management strategy. How do people, we know that the president is the number 1. After the president, we know there is the Senate, there's this, there's that. Then after the management strategy, we have the people strategy. Before we vote in people, there is already, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of things that are meant to guide these people. After the people strategy, then the marketing and the system. Thank you so much, and I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things from all I've said.